Folks, this is Par 73, bringing you Game 3 of Civil vs. Moore. Civil eliminated Moore last game. The reason this is because they hold a 25-point lead over their opponents, and this game smells territories with 15 flags only nets a maximum of 21 points. So Civil put this out of reach. If Moore was able to hold on to just one more flag, they could potentially tie. They would lose by QR seeding or something like that. They really need to hold on to 2 flags there to keep it tight. And it looks like Moore only has 6 players now. Toast is not coming back, but they do have a proper post-game pre-game excuse in their team title. It was a fluke. You know it probably was, folks. So let's get going here on Game 3. These two orders respect each other enough to keep great games going here. For the men of Rohan, Monte 6 coming up to captain. He's supported by Gandalf, Bishop, Fulio, Rohan, and Skeletor. We'll have to check up. Skeletor has the Warlock, and it looks like Monte 6 might also keep the Warlock. For the men of Rohan and Civil Order, captained by Tilps. He's done a great job captaining for his team today. He is going for the shutout captaining feat here, going for the 3-0, as well as the rest of his team. Of course, he's joined by El Destructo, Stinger, Fod, Bellandane, Nomos, and Ruiner. Bellandane and Nomos just showing up for this last game, as well as Fulio. I believe Moore lost one more player along the way, but I could be wrong. Anyway, Civil's colors look great here. You got like a full rainbow. How about that, man? Meanwhile, Moore, they got the darker colors. They're hanging out in the forest by the lake, keeping it real. Some hermits. But so yeah, Monte 6 gonna keep that Warlock, and Skeletor gonna keep his Warlock. Looks like Skeletor gonna move his Warlock to the east, where both of Civil's Warlocks are heading. Those Warlocks, once again, in control by Fod and Ruiner, who are also in control of Heron Packs. Meanwhile, you got Nomos with a Warrior Pack and a Dwarf. Stinger with 2 Dwarves and a Warrior Pack. And in the west, Bellandane going solo with his Dwarf and Warrior Pack. Perhaps Tilps and El Destructo will be going to support them. We'll have to find out. Seems like El Destructo is a Trow and goal specialist. It's reminding me of a player named Karma in a lot of ways. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And for men of Rohan, Gandalf, he will have a large amount of warriors and a Heron Pack. Meanwhile, Rohan with a Dwarf, a large amount of archers and goals. Remember, folks, flame arrows on this map do hurt the Warlocks. The Warlocks are Confusion Warlocks. They are not Warlocks of Fire. It looks like Monte 6 will have a melee pack with his Warlock, as it blocks Skeletor and Bishop. Lol. Bishop has a small artillery group here. No melee for him.
Flag captured.
And Fulio will be moving with a flank of his own, plus Skeletor with his small amount of Herons accompanying the Warlock. Looks like all the Warlocks are heading east here. Rather, Fod sending his Warlock mid, and Ruiner going to study up on some reading. Maybe he can learn the Ring of Fire spell up in that library. Right now, Civil in the lead with flags. Scoring for Game 3. Although it does not matter much at this point. Although it does, because it puts the game out of reach. Each flag is worth a point, and you get 6 points for the win. More concentrating on the mid and the east heavily here, not much in the west at all. And Civil getting a bit aggressive on all accounts besides the mid. Well, even Fod is pushing up with his Warlock. And if those bowmen were down below, or at least half the bowmen were down below, they could totally be contesting this Warlock right now. It looks like Meta Rohan also got Pus, so we'll have to see how that goes into play. It looks like Civil opted for Pus as well.
Flag captured.
Or they don't have Pus, they have Satchels, as a matter of fact. But out of range to do anything, unfortunate for Rohan. And it looks like Bishop will take out one of his team's own Warlocks as it gets off a confusion on Stinger's units. And Ananab Tilps is cheering for his teammate as the rest of his units gets taken out. Civil losing all their units in the process, but taking out that Warlock there. Skeletor, the pressure's on for him. He has the only Warlock left for more. And Fod has open rain on the mid here. I think the ceiling is too close for the archers to get any decent range up there. They are out of the way of getting rushed from that position, however. Flags right now are 7-7. You can see Bellandane cleaning up the backfield of Men of Rohan here. Oops. And there's so much happening. I'm going to the auto camera. Nomo's moving through the southeast towards the north. While El Destructo, he's moved along from the Red Room through the maze. Now he's in the backfield of Men of Rohan. It looks like Gandalf sneaking around the southwest part of the map. Civil holding off their defensive flag with a large amount of thrall controlled by Ananab Tilps. And Men of Rohan will put the flags into their favor. Percentages are tight for what it's worth, and that dwarf will take itself out. I'm glad I have auto camera on. Oh my god. So, yeah. Mistakes were made. Bishop's dwarf goes down. Not only took out their teammate's Warlock, but also takes itself out, unfortunately.
Flag captured.
Moore still holding down the mid and the east. Civil just rotating around, cleaning up the backfields for the most part.
Flag captured. Flag captured. Flag captured.
And what looked like a promising shot by Ruiner is not going to land on Fulio's units, fortunately for Men of Rohan. And it looks like Bellandane has found a Heron Guard unattended. It's not going to get off its heel in time. It's going to go down to his warriors.
Flag captured.
And I missed the pus there. It's going to kind of go off. El Destructo has one more. And it's just little pus, folks. Not doing any damage, was able to paralyze the Warlock, but those 2 goals will go down for El Destructo. Just 2 more weapons taken off the field for Civil. Although minor weapons. It looks like Fod's gotten off a confused mid. He's going to clean up those archers while Skeletor getting pushed. Looks like his Warlock is safe for now. That was where the real pus was. In fact, I think El Destructo had 4 goals there, and each one attacking. Each flank had 1 large, 1 small. If he coordinated them together, I think he would have pulled that off. But it is what it is. And as the weapons go down for Civil, they do have a 5% lead right now, as well as a 3 flag lead. Runa trying to pop a shot. It's not going to get anywhere.
Flag captured.
Fod only killing some of those archers there. Only 2. We'll have to see how this plays out. As it looks like Ananab Tilps is now using his walls of thrall to control their opponents. I'm kind of liking territories here a bit more than Flag Rally. Flag Rally always pits these guaranteed battles here, in the Red Room, here, and here, and you know, with territories, kind of encourages the use of all hallways rather than just a set few to prepare for. Interesting dynamic. Fod's gonna get off a shot, but it's not enough. It looks like Stinger's gonna get rushed by the combined Heron packs of Monte 6 and Skeletor. His Heron's in quite a bit of trouble. It's gonna get singled out and blocked. And those warriors will be cleaned up. The percent advantage going back to the men of Rohan. And Fod a bit frustrated with these mid archers who have come down from the high ground to play. It actually gives them more range if they're on the low ground, that is for sure. Quite honestly, it'd be cool to see the units fight in a cathedral type maze map so that archers can actually get that range. And you know, a cathedral would have a nice high ceiling. But you know, maybe one day, although the time is up for cool creations like that, even though there's plenty of great new features available now. Fod's gonna get off Confuse on these units here. He's gonna go clean them up, and by features I meant programs. I apologize, but yeah, Fod earning his ratios at the moment. Rohan crying for help from Gandalf, but Gandalf, all his melee is spread out here and just out of position to assist. Fod almost falls victim to the satchel charge there. It's going to take out Moore's 2 goals instead. And with those losses mid, I mean, Rohan just getting cleaned up really quickly. They're down about 25% now. I noticed a lot throughout this match. Rohan gets a huge amount of units, and he's just pushed into positions where he has to or tries to do too much. It just doesn't work out well for the men of Rohan. It looks like Gandalf might actually have some AFK units here. Bellandane, will he keep his dwarf alive? It looks like it. I mean, These games are so old school, the players with Heron guards don't even use heals. It's crazy, because those warriors, they don't cause flinching, like say Thrall axes or an explosion. And a light pus almost gets off on Rohan's dwarf here, and Fod and LD gonna move in to pinch on it. Skeletor's Heron's just out of position completely to support. And Fod's calling for the flag. Civil up 12% here. They also have another 45% on top of that.
Flag contested. Seconds.
And I guess this map was made by the likes of Ruiner and Bellandane. A home field map. Although it doesn't matter in terms of elimination, it may certainly have mattered in terms of results.
Contested. Sudden death. Flag contested.
And will Civil pull off the flag? Might be too much veterans on that Heron.
Flag contested. Flag captured.
Looks like Moore will be able to hold on to this one at the very least. As Ruiner and LD clean that up. And Moore able to hold on to these last two flags. Interesting where they end up. Spent most of the game mid and east. That eastern force hanging around a lot longer than the mid force. Perhaps reflected in defending this final flag with those Herons, but somehow Gandalf ends up with his warriors down here in the southeast. These Thrall did a great job blocking the hallways and preventing these Thrall from escaping. I mean, these Herons from escaping. I mean, just interesting dynamics all across the board. We get a 13-12 victory for Civil here. Each flag is worth 1 point. Victory is worth 6 points. So that will result in a 19-2 victory for Civil. They bump up 45 points to 64, and Moore goes from 20-22 for the final score being 64-22 in favor of Civil. They won all 3 games really quite handedly, either scoring twice as many points as their opponent or more, just completely outclassing Men of Rohan here. I heard that Men of Rohan gets rather competitive later on. Still a respective order, but I feel like they really dropped the ball here against Civil and just either came unprepared or didn't have the skills to match. Unfortunate, but let's go through the stats, kills, damage for the teams and players here. Captaining for Civil Order, Anadab tilts 2-1, 15 damage. Fod goes 17-1 and 124, almost out damaging the opponent's team, leading the game in kills and damage with his work with his Warlock and Heron's mid. El Destructo going 6-7, 58 damage. Bellandane 5-0, 32 damage. Nomos 4-7, 37 damage. Ruiner 4-0, 36 damage. And Stinger 2-9, 23 damage. I mean, the stats don't reflect it, but Stinger losing those units early, one of those kills not reflected, should be 3, is the kill on, I believe, Monte 6's Warlock. because Stinger's unit was in range, Bishop's Dwarf autoed or control clicked and tried to take it out, but took the Warlock out in the process as well. And that after that moment, I mean, Civil just had the advantage. I mean, similar to McManus running around with the Tro in the first game and giving Civil a high body count lead. After that, it was just cookies out of Grandma's cookie jar for those Civil kids. But let's move on to more statistics here. Monte 6, 5 and 7, 41 damage. Skeletor going 12 and 7, 76 damage. Gandalf 2 and 12, 24 damage. Rohan 2 and 13, 17 damage. Fulio 1 and 2, 5 damage. Bishop 0 and 3 with 1 damage. Checking out the graphs here. Civil and Men of Rohan keep the damage and kills versus time rather close, or at least the kills versus time rather close. And then with about 3-4 minutes left in the game, maybe 5 minutes left in the game, Civil just takes over, skyrockets. That's probably the moment right there when Fod confuses Rohan's archers, and they just become easy ratios, food, and veterans for his Heron guards. It's reflected in the damage as well right there. But for the majority of the game, Civil led in damage, and I'm sure losing that Warlock didn't help. And that's going to wrap up the match, folks. Civil take this one 64-22. They did eliminate Men of Rohan in the game previous. They'll move on to play against the winner of Sucks at Myth 2 or Evil Incorporated. I believe Evil Incorporated is favored in that match. Civil was voted number 2 in the top 10 rankings, whereas Evil Incorporated placed 3rd. So my bets is on we'll see a Civil versus Evil Incorporated matchup somewhere near in the future. We'll have to check that out, but by chance, Civil may play against Sucks at Myth 2, and we'll be checking that match out as well. Whichever one happens, we'll see what goes on. Job well done by the Civil team here. I mean, they handily routed their foes. Starting the match undermanned. I mean, by the end of the match, they have the man advantage. They have the point advantage, the game advantage, the morale advantage. They did great work, so commends to them and more. They gave it their best. Some of their strategies a little bit questionable here and there. It's clear that Rohan's in that heavy hitting role for his team, but when it's time to step up to the plate, mistakes are made. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. Good luck to more in their future tournaments. I mean, they don't play anymore, but maybe we'll see them in MWC 2000 or 2001. Maybe they'll be keeping it competitive and come back once again. And thank you all for watching. This is Power 73. I'll be signing off now. Hope you enjoyed, and GG's.